There's bound to be some friction. So we teach them to have loving relationship with each other. We all love to call our best friend, but we have to enhance our relationship with everybody. We teach them to learn to tolerate one another's weaknesses, to live in very great harmonious feelings, and to work as a group together.
Is he here? Please come forward. They have now decided to enter Grihastha Ashram and help each other in dedicating their lives to the mission of Srila Prabhupada. We request all the Vaishnavas here to kindly pray to Sri Sri Radha Gopinath by loudly chanting Hari
We have a very young, youthful congregation. Most of them are very young. So this is a very guided and convenient and a confidential approach whereby we act purely as a facilitator. The decisions are always left to the individual boy and the girl and to their parents.
If somebody joins as a brahmachari, naturally the congregation loses a member and it's the ashram's gain. And if he leaves the ashram, then he should not leave Krishna consciousness. It should be the congregation's gain. So either one of the parties should gain. There should be no loss to anyone.
In my eyes, I feel that my husband is soon going to become a devotee and we'll both be Krishna conscious and we'll have Krishna conscious children and influence the whole world to become Krishna conscious.
I'm learning how to be a nice devotee, how to practice Krishna conscious nicely.
I've learned how to love here. I joined when I was a student and I was in great trouble. But as soon as I joined Krishna consciousness, as soon as I made friends here in this temple, I've become very, very happy.
How do you see your future in spiritual life?
Extremely bright and fantastic.
Wonderful.
At Radha Gopinath Temple, we're really striving to create whatever programs, projects possible so that each and every devotee, whoever they may be, will feel cared for, appreciated, and spiritually inspired.
One of the main impressions I got when I came back was the shallow depth that there is in our daily communication, in that we fail to remind each other about the deeper things in life.
All of us, even we need some attention, some kind of appreciation.
In a large growing congregation, sometimes people just feel lost. There's no one to talk to, there's no one to, relate to.
Generally there's a tendency we preach and the moment he comes, all right, he's one of us, now preach others, he's neglected. He's already a devotee.
So here, it's just like you go to your house and the mother and the father is there to welcome you. So the moment you see a counselor, you feel you're at the shelter of some senior Vaishnava.
Within this counselor board, there are certain specific committees. For example, there is one committee about health. There's one committee which will try and find a job if some devotee has some financial problems, if some devotee has some problem about accommodation, about his living quarters.
They want to surrender. You ask them to collect funds, you ask them to distribute books, you ask them to worship the deities, and they're enlivened to do so. But if there is not that family spirit, if there is not that faith, then it's very difficult to manage a temple.
dedicating yourself towards a spiritual life, there's a lot of things you go through mentally, of course. And so there's a system there that is there to counsel you through your problems.
A devotee will not be able to pursue spiritual life till he is mentally stable, is physically very comfortable, and emotionally also is very strong. Maharaj said one thing, he said, unless until you are a good listener, you cannot be a counselor, because people want to pour out their heart.
Many of them have problems, not just spiritual problems, whether they change the job, they get married, they have problems in their family, marital problems. All these are there, and whom do they turn to?
The relation between the counselor and the counselee is not restricted to the meetings. It's more than the meeting.
In lectures we hear so much philosophy, but they are practically guiding us how to use this philosophy in our practical lives.
So initially we were about maybe 5 or 6 counselors, and today we are 35 counselors.
You need someone who can guide you and who can assess you how your spiritual life is progressing.
In college it was a bit difficult because I was newly introduced that time for Krishna consciousness. But now the young college girls, we are better able to guide them.
Maharaj has been stressing very much that wives are equally counselors. So wives play a very, very crucial stabilizing force.
The system itself has evolved. It has gradually evolved according to the needs of the time. The representation of the brahmacharis is by the presidents who are there, and all the members of the congregation are represented through their counselors.
So the counselor keeps track of all his counselees, guides them, nourishes them, cares for them, and this way it's like a small family in a bigger family.